皆さんの力を貸してください。
見事な攻撃でしたわ。
皆さん、小さな光を最大限に集めて鋭く華麗に。
見事な攻撃でしたわ。
Hey guys, Misery here, back with another CZM video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing an E0 showcase for the new unit, Heidemarie. And let me tell you this right now, she's absolutely broken. So I'm sure as you saw in the beginning of the video, those clips I put up, she is doing upwards of like 160k AoE damage. She's doing 80k single target damage, but that's not even like anywhere near close of how much I get in the end of this video. In the new tower floors we have where I'm going to be showcasing Heidemarie floor 96 to 100, I actually hit upwards of 194k damage with Heidemarie on a single target boss, and this is totally doable at E0. You do not need any dupes for this, but to do this much damage you are going to need some support units such as Orlea and Nia. Nia of course is going to be best in slot for discard units such as Heidemarie, Renoa, Diana, and then Orlea is going to be there for the multiplicative buffing because Heidemarie's multipliers are pretty decent, so you're going to be wanting to stack multiplicative buffs on her to do a ton of damage, not to mention the vulnerable that Orlea gives also. But yeah, I'm having a ton of fun in the new season with Heidemarie and everything. Finally we have our seasonal chaos back. I was so tired of farming zero system decks. It is so bad to farm decks in preseason when we don't have seasonal chaos because seasonal chaos is just so good. You get so many more remove events, you get so many more credits for the shop. But yeah, getting straight into the video and my builds for this E0 showcase, starting with Heidemarie. I kind of invested a lot into Heidemarie. As you see, I have her level 40 affinity, so you know my stats are going to be pretty decent. So I have 974 attack, 59.7% critical chance, and 185.6% critical damage with 31.2 extra damage. And ideally you want to stack extra damage on Heidemarie because like some of her cards scale off of extra damage, like her blades that you discard, those are extra attacks. But as you'll see in this video, I actually do not get the discard effect on the blades that I'm making. So specifically for this deck that I'm using, she doesn't scale off of extra damage, but you know, most of her other decks do. But yeah, those are my stats. Getting into the partner that I'm using, of course I'm using Sylvia, her designated partner. With Heidemarie being a limited along with her partner, you know, I had to go for both. I still am debating whether I should E6 Heidemarie or not. You know, I kind of want to, but I wanted to hold off first so I could do an E0 video for you guys. As you guys also saw in the beginning of the video, I have over 100,000 gems, so you know I'm very well off. I can definitely E6 Heidemarie if I want to. Those are all from the content creator program gems, so if you make content for CZN or you want to, I highly suggest to apply for it. They pay really good gems. But yeah, basically what Sylvia does, increase the assigned combatant's attack by 16%. Each time the assigned combatant's linked cards are used manually or discarded, you gain 1 Zephyr, and Zephyr is a buff that when you reach 3 stacks you get 20% critical damage to Heidemarie or whoever this is equipped on. But I'm pretty sure like the only other person who could use this is maybe Veronica, but even on Veronica, Heidemarie needs to be in the team because you know this scales off of linked cards. But Zephyr is a new buff and it gives plus 15% damage amount to the assigned combat's passion attack cards with a max of 3 stacks, so that goes up to plus 45%. I'm not gonna go too much into the ego skill. I don't think I actually like use it that much or at all in this video. So yeah, this is the partner that I'm running for Heidemarie, Sylvia. And then finally getting into the deck. So this is the nuke deck for Heidemarie. There's 2 ways you can actually play this. So first off, we have the 3-cost sword rain with exhaust, finale, retain, and unique. This does a bunch of AoE damage and you know it basically turns into effulgent release, basically an AoE effulgent release. So if you're going up against AoE content, it's better to use the sword rain rather than actually using effulgent release itself. And then we have 4 effulgent expansions on the epiphany. Create 6 effulgent blades in discard pile, because if you read the sword rain and you know what effulgent release does, both of these scale off of how many blades are actually in the discard pile. So our main goal is to create as many blades in the discard pile and then you know scale the sword rain or the effulgent release depending on whether you're going against AoE content or single target. And then we just have effulgent compression, which is how you get effulgent release. You just need to discard effulgent compression 3 times and then it'll turn into effulgent release, because you'll get the effulgent light stacks, which once you hit 3 of those, you know that turns compression into release. But yeah, that's the deck I'm using and you'll see how it works later on in the video in the tower floors. As for the memory fragments, I'm running a 4-2, the new 4-piece set for Heidemarie that gives plus 15% critical chance or 1 turn to passion attribute attack cards. And you may see that this says max 2 stacks. This actually does not like give 30% critical damage. The max 2 stacks is actually for the turns, so it's plus 15% critical chance for 2 turns depending on how many stacks you have. It's not plus 30% critical chance. I see a lot of people misunderstanding this new set, so I just wanted to make that clear. But as for the substats and the main stats, 6th slot, of course you want attack. 5th slot, you can either go elemental percentage or attack. It's not really too much of a big difference. It's like a 1% damage difference. If you have a lot of attack percentage in your subs, it's better to go elemental percentage. Vice versa, if you don't have a lot of attack percent in your subs, it's better to go attack on the slot. So yeah, then the 4th slot, I just have crit chance main. Of course you want to go crit chance for every DPS because it's hard to get, you know, near max crit chance in this game, at least as of right now. And then for the substats, you're basically just going to be building her kind of like Diana. You just want crit chance, crit damage, extra damage, attack. And yeah, that's basically my entire Heidemarie build, kind of like what you need to know about her and how to build her. Moving on to the next unit we have in this team composition, which is Orlea. So my Orlea, I got her on 391 defense because she scales off defense with her healing. Defense is also going to make her take less damage, which is more survivability. Same with health. Health is going to keep you alive more because you're going to have more health. And then the other stats don't really matter because she's just a support. As for the partner, I'm running Nyx on her. Of course, if you read Nyx's passive, when the assigned combatant draws for the first time each turn using an ability, plus 14% damage dealt by allies for one turn. Yours might be a little less than mine because mine is almost max dupe. I'm pretty sure this is just 8% at E0, which is still a good buff. So if you don't have Nyx, I highly recommend getting her from the battle pass if you know you don't mind spending $10. And then also just increases the assigned combatant's defense, health, and heal amount, which is, you know, Orlea does all of those, which is really nice. Nyx's ego skill actually does discard. I don't use it in this video, but you know, there's some synergy there with Heidemarie and discard units with Nyx's ego skill. As for the deck I'm running on Orlea, I have the upgrade sensor, but I also have multifaceted in my accessory slot, so that's going to be proccing sensor for free at the beginning of the battle, saving me some AP. And then I have 4 growth acceleration on the draw define, so it cycles itself, but also this is going to activate retain 2 times to a creature, which I have the creature that applies vulnerable to the enemy, and that's going to turn into a softie, which is multiplicative buffing. You know, that's going to be buffing our effulgent release on Heidemarie, and since the multipliers on effulgent release are so high, that's going to be an insane damage increase on top of vulnerable, which is the best debuff in the game, because vulnerable makes the enemy take so much more damage. It's like not even close to like anything else. I have the Cthulhu attack weapon on this deck, so that's more attack for Heidemarie, and yeah, that's the deck I'm using for Orlea. As for the memory fragments, of course, you just want to go 4-piece glory rain set and 2-piece defense set. Glory rain is going to give an extra 15% damage increase to your allies, so that's more damage for Heidemarie. And then like I said earlier, Orlea scales off defense, so of course you want to put her on the 2-piece defense set. You can go health, you know, if you don't have good defense pieces, but ideally you want defense 2-piece. As for the main stats, 4th slot you just want to go health, same with 5th slot, and then 6th slot you want to go defense. As for the substats, just go defense and health, maybe ego recovery if you can't get the other two. But yeah, that's my Orlea build. Moving on to the next unit we have, which is going to be Nia. So my Nia has 393 defense and 719 health, basically, you know, stacking the same substats as Orlea. You do want to put ego recovery on Nia if you possibly can. I don't really have much on my Nia right now. That's just if you really want to min-max, but it's definitely not needed because Nia's potentials actually scale off ego recovery. And then as for the partner I'm running on Nia, it is Alyssa max dupe. That is going to increase Nia's defense by 24%, which is more healing and survivability. Onto the deck I'm using for Nia, I'm just running this Adagio deck. I have the 2 Soul Rip upgrade, and then for Adagio with Nia's Curiosity, my Adagio has the Epiphany, where if you discard a card, you will create another Adagio, but with exhaust. This is really good for cycling all of your decks in the entire turn, so you can get the most value. But something to note when playing with this specific Adagio, you can skip the discard on the Epiphany Adagio, but the one it creates you actually can't, so you're forced to discard with the one it creates. Because sometimes you actually might want to skip a discard with the regular Epiphany one if you have nothing to discard or you want to get rid of. So it's just a free draw neutral to get closer to cycling all of your decks. And then onto the memory fragments for Nia, basically running the same thing as Orlea because both of them have exhaust cards. Well, Nia has exhaust cards in this specific deck since we're creating those Adagios with exhaust. So we're also going to get another 15% damage increase buff to your allies just off of Nia too. So Orlea and Nia are both running this set for an extra 30% damage increase to allies. And then also just like Orlea, running the 2-piece defense set since they both heal. As for the main stats and the substats, you basically just want to go the same as Orlea. 4th slot you run health main, 5th slot health main, and then substats defense, health, and then ego recovery if you can. And yeah, those are the 3 characters I use for this specific E0 showcase for Heidemarie. These are probably her best teammates. I guess you could go Diana, maybe even Renoa if you have both of them, but Nia is really good for Heidemarie since she wants to discard a lot, and then Orlea for the multiplicative buffing and vulnerable, increasing your damage on Heidemarie a ton since Heidemarie's multipliers are pretty high. But enough of me yapping, let's get straight into the video on the tower floors 96 through 100 on the new tower that we just got yesterday.
遅すぎた後悔より前へ進む力を。
ビシッと決めるね。さて次の曲は私天上の地位を。
負けます。小さな光を最大限に集めて鋭く華麗に。予想通り効率的な攻撃でした。
天上の地位を。 私天井の地位を
皆さん、遅すぎた後悔より、遅すぎた後悔より、遅すぎた後悔よ
どうし
り、前へ進む力を。
天井の地位をビシッとさてビシッとさてビシッと
遅すぎた後悔よ
さ
り、前。
私の光の女
小さな光を最大限に集めて、鋭く華麗に。
天井の地位を私天井の地位をビシッと決めるねさて
遅すぎた後悔よ
ビシッさてビシッとさて
り、遅すぎた後悔より、前へ進む力を。
ビシッと
遅すぎた後悔より、前へ進む。負けません。小さな光を最大限に集めて、鋭く華麗に。
天井の地位を私天井の地位をさてビシッと天井の地位をさてビシッと
遅すぎた後悔よ
さて
り、前へ進む力を。遅すぎた後悔より、遅すぎた後悔より、前へ進む。
気になるなチューニングしよっと
遅すぎた後悔よ
天井の地位を
り、皆小さな光を最大限に集めて、鋭く華麗に。
盛り上げて私天井の地位をさて
遅すぎた後悔より、前へ進む。負けません。皆さんの力を貸してください。
天井の地位を私天井の地位をビシッと
遅すぎた後悔より、遅すぎた後悔より、前へ進む力を。
天井の地位をどうしてほしい
死は怖くありません。だからこそ立ち向かうんです。
見事な攻撃でしたわ
後悔さん、遅すぎた後悔より、前へ進む力を。
さて
遅すぎた後悔より、遅すぎた後悔より、遅すぎた後悔よ
天井の地位を 私天井の地位をビシッと
遅すぎた後悔より
天井の地位をさてチューニングしよっと天井の地位を
負けません。小さな光を最大限に集めて鋭く華麗に。
And yeah, that's gonna be the video. I hope this video was informative. If it was, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'd very much appreciate if you could support the channel. You guys have been showing a ton of love, and we're going at such a rapid rate that I thank every one of you. A lot of you tell me you enjoy my content, which makes me glad to hear, because I always want to be informative and make good content for you guys. Let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts on Heidemarie are so far. If you think she's amazing, if you think she's gonna be like the best character of season 3, just let me know down below. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video. I hope you guys take care, peace, and be safe until the next one.